This is a continuation of my cocoa farm journey. Welcome to my cocoa farm journey. If you're new here or you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe for a wonderful experience. Please consider supporting us through Patreon or buy me a coffee. Now, let's get back to the farm. So we are back to the farm. It's not so visible here. I'm standing on a hill looking at the farm. There's a lot of growth. It's been raining for over 2 months. It's now that we have the rain stop a little bit. So much growth, so I can't really see it from here. So I'm going to go down there so we can really take a look in the farm. So we are climbing down, going into the cocoa farm. Okay, so now we've got to the farm at last. I've not been here for almost 2 months because it was a rainy season and it was raining really heavy. There was nothing much we could have done here. So I've come here, the rains have stopped and it's getting into the dry season where it's not going to rain for a long time. So here we are. Behind me is the cocoa farm. Remember, I have 2 cocoa farms. One is an old one that was abandoned and we tried to revive it. And then we have the new one that we're trying to plant along with the alligator pepper there. So at this moment we're going to look at the old cocoa farm, which we tried to revive. It was abandoned, you know, disease riddled and all that, but we have been trying to get it to be back in form. So let's take a look at the old one. It doesn't look too bad. These are the cocoa trees. Yes. One thing with the cocoa farm or any cocoa farm is that the cocoa plants, the trees form a canopy and it's always shaded. It's like you are in an enclosed area, like you have a roof over your head. You can see it here. This is the top. You can walk a mile like this without seeing the sun or the sky. So it is very interesting. Yes. So the trees, they are coming up. Yes, it's not the fruiting season, so you will not see a lot of fruits or cocoa pods, but there are a few which have cocoa pods on them, like this one. Okay, it's doing well. It's doing well, but we are still thinking if it is worth, you know, giving it a whole lot of care, or we plant new ones. Okay, but the trees are looking beautiful. Yeah, it is looking great. You can see a beautiful cocoa pod here. Really beautiful. Yes. Let me just show you something. These you see here are all flowers. These are all flowers. Okay. Now, if each of these flowers were to get pollinated, there will be a whole lot of cocoa. But not all of it gets pollinated, so a lot of it gets to waste. You know, maybe only half or less than half of it will be pollinated. So now they have a new technique where you have hand pollination, so that there are people who are specialized in this. they go, they are hired to do this for the farmers. You get to a tree, then they use some tools to hand pollinate each flower. Make sure that you have a whole lot of fruits. One thing about being in a cocoa farm is that you cannot really walk silently. Okay, I'm here, and if you look at the ground, you can see dried leaves. So when you walk, you can't sneak up or sneak around the cocoa farm. It's very crunchy, these leaves. It's all over the place. What it does for the farm also is that it covers the ground so that you have very little undergrowth. The canopy itself covers, gives a roof to the farm, so there's not too much sunlight to penetrate, so that you don't have too much undergrowth, so you don't have to weed too much. And then the dried leaves themselves cover the rest of the land, so you cannot really have much undergrowth. You can see this one, for instance. This entire place is covered by leaves. There's no way any plants can grow out of it. So it saves you a lot of weeding. See, except once in a while a plant will sneak out. But mostly it is covered. It's covered. It's like a carpet. So this carpet covers the ground, not too much undergrowth. And also it is great walking around a cocoa farm because it's cool. Even if the sun is so hot outside. See, there's a patch here that you can see the sun right here. A little round hole. So here the sun comes through. Yes. But once you come down, this is the only space where the sun comes through. And I'm standing in it right now. So once I step here, I'm in the shade. It's like being indoors. And it is cool. Weather is not the temperature is not so high because of the lack of sunlight penetration. So that is it, me in the old cocoa farm. So this is, like I said, one that was almost dead and we tried to revive. And we're still having second thoughts. After putting a whole lot of effort into it, we are having second thoughts. So I'm going to leave here right now and go to the new farm that we are planting. This one is quite small. It's not so much. It's just about an acre. So we're going to the big one, which is a newly planted cocoa farm. So let's go ahead and see what we will encounter there. So you come with me as I step out of this farm, and I'm going to climb up. So we are climbing uphill now. I'm trying to run. Out here, I'm going to pass another route to the new farm. I'm still climbing up. This is a good workout. Okay, this area is mainly known, it's a rainforest area. So a lot of people plant the rubber trees. And a rubber tree you plant, it takes up to 7 years to start producing anything for you. But when it starts producing, it produces a lot. You make a lot of money out of it. Okay, so these are the rubber plants. These ones are about 3 years old, I believe. About 3 years old. They're not yet mature. So, like I was saying, people in this area tend to plant the rubber trees, very large farms, and then they also plant cocoa. These two crops do very well here. There's also a lot of cassava and plantain. a real lot of it. Okay, so I'm passing through this nice canopy area, so I like you to see it. Yes, it's a nice curve. Okay, so you get to some places and you have a nice canopy and you forget you are in a tropical zone, because right now I'm feeling very cool. The temperature just lowered, went down, feeling really, really cool. Yes, at last we are in the farm, and oh my god, the cocoa plants are doing well. We're going to take a look at them in a short while, but apart from the cocoa we have lots of other plants. This is cassava. You can see we have lots and lots of cassava here, a lot of it. That's food, you know. Yes, and also I'm not going to leave here without some vitamin C. I have some papaya here. I think they are not so ripe. I'll leave it for a while. One of the reasons why we've not had regular updates on the cocoa itself is that it is a slow growing plant at this stage, and it is when it gets up to 2 years going that the speed of growth is quite high. At this moment, this is what we have here. Very healthy. Yes, the leaves are looking very healthy, so there is progress. Yes, we have another one here. It's also growing nice. You see, a climbing plant has tried to climb it, so you have to always take a look at these plants. Yes, because it will just suffocate it. Yes, so the cocoa is going well, and you can look up there. You can see that it's really coming up well. The cassava has grown faster. We planted this cocoa long before the cassava, and the cassava is growing, providing shade. I'll give you an example. This is the cassava and this is the cocoa. The cocoa is older than this cassava, but the cassava has grown very fast, and it is providing shade from the sun for the cocoa plant. So that is the relationship they have. It provides shape. By the time we harvest this cassava, the cocoa would have been grown enough, be strong enough to stand on its own. So the point of planting cassavas and other plantains and other plants is that they provide shade for the cocoa plants when they are young and vulnerable. Yes, so you can see here, I'm making a turn around here so that you can see these are the rubber plants from my neighbor. My farm starts from the bottom here. It's like there's a hill on the left, hill on the right, and the valley, the middle of the valley is the boundary. So that is that. So this is another plant. You can see that they are all doing well. Most of them are at this level. Okay, so the progress report from the cocoa farm is that everything is a-okay. Really, really nice, looking fresh. Okay, in about 3 months time the next rainy season will start, and they're going to grow very, very fast. So you can see here, and everything is a-okay.
If you liked this video, then like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any video we upload. New videos uploaded every Tuesday and Friday. Kindly consider supporting us on Patreon or buy me a coffee. Much appreciation goes to all our viewers and patrons. Thanks for your support.